Hi, and welcome to Athena Insights. My name's Linda Murray. I'm the founder, speaker, trainer, and executive coach at Athena Coaching and Athena Leadership Academy. Your ability to lead, motivate, and inspire is dependent on how effectively you can influence the people around you. Influence is one of the most powerful skills you can have. It can impact your career opportunities and your success, personal and business relationships, and ultimately your financial rewards. Think of it like a superpower. The good news is you don't need to be a superhero to have great influence. Like many other leadership skills, the ability to communicate and influence isn't automatic due to your position or your role, and nor should it be assumed. The ability to communicate well and influence others, it can be learned and developed with practice, and it's well worth the effort when you consider the potential benefits. It's worth remembering that influencing doesn't only happen downwards in organisations. You may also need to influence your own leaders to increase budgets or approve projects. And you may also need to influence your peers to get their assistance in sharing knowledge or resources. So it's not hard to see why this is a skill worth doing well and developing if you want to make things happen at all levels. Effective communication's more than just holding good meetings and being careful with what you say or delivering great speeches. How you communicate with people is actually more important than what you communicate. In fact, the words that you use, or the what of your communication, only make up 7% of the total impact. 7%. The remaining 93% of the message received rests in how you communicate. So that's your tone, your visual cues such as body language and facial expressions. So in order to communicate effectively and to influence others, it's really important that what you say, how you say it, and how you look saying it are all aligned. Influential leaders are generally exceptional communicators. Kenneth Blanchard said the key to successful leadership today is in influence, not authority. If you'd like to improve your powers of influence, then the following tips will not only enhance your communication and influence, they'll help you become a better leader. So great communication starts with listening. Communication skills, and in particular active listening, are the building blocks of successful influencing. In its simplest terms, influence means to affect change in a person's behaviour by changing their attitude, opinion, or point of view, and to inspire some kind of action as a result. So if you want your team to work smarter, faster, more creatively, before you can achieve any change, you must first understand what their current perspective is. Listen to what is said, as well as what's not said. Watch for those visual or non-verbal cues. Be really present in the moment, and instead of framing up your next question before the current one's even been answered. We've all had that experience in a conversation with someone where you can see their mind ticking over with what they're going to say next, rather than just truly listening to you. Too often I see communication break down because one or both parties are determined to be right. So instead of defending your point of view, aim to listen for understanding, not agreement. Active listening and being truly interested in what someone is saying is that starting point that shows those you lead that you actually care. You can't expect anyone you lead to care about your goals and expectations if you don't show that you care about theirs. Ask questions and listen. Make a point to be open and receptive to what your team are really saying to you. Make sure that you hear their actual meaning. In other words, don't project your views onto them. Just listen. Use your active listening skills to hear both what is being said and what's left unsaid. Ask clarifying questions to gain a better understanding as to how you can ensure both you and your team are on the same page. Paraphrasing is another great way of testing everyone is aligned. Make sure that they're using their own language though, not just repeating back what you've said. Being generous with your time, skills, and knowledge in a really genuine way will engage others and inspire them. That's what happens when influence and leadership are combined. Be sensitive to the feelings and mood in conversation. If you want others to understand you and listen to what you're saying, they have to be ready to hear what you're saying. Showing that you're ready and open to be hearing what they have to say is a really great start. So listen with open ears, an open mind, and an open heart. Pay attention to others' body language and their general mood before you begin speaking. So if you're aware that there's a certain energy in a room, appropriately check in and see how everyone's feeling and if there's anything that needs to be talked about before you get started. As they say, call the elephant in the room. Acknowledge the feelings of others when you begin speaking, especially if you need to discuss a really emotionally charged topic. I've been running a number of workshops recently in organisations that have had massive restructures. Now, obviously, everyone in that room is impacted by that differently, so I always start the session with an opportunity for participants to really share how they're feeling. This helps to create an energy of openness and compassion in the room and drives good quality communication. If you need to have a tough conversation, avoid using the phone or email. Obviously, those visual cues account for 55% of your overall communication. So you don't want to miss out on that using phone or email. The tougher the conversation, the more reliant both parties will be on those visual cues. So if you're in different locations, I'd recommend using video as a really good alternative. When it comes to discussing people's performance, save comments and feedback for confidential one-on-one conversations. Again, always in person if logistically possible. Be open and build trust. Communication is a two-way process. If you lead a team, they need to feel safe and valued enough to be able to bring you their best ideas as well as their concerns. Make sure that your team knows that you have an open door policy and that it's actually safe to share information with you. Take the time to get to know your team as individuals, including what are their needs and interests. I find the easiest way to do this is ask them what they did on the weekend and truly listen to what they do. See, we spend most of our time doing what's important to us. So do they spend their non-work time with family or with friends or playing sport or reading a book or in nature? If you truly listen to what lights them up as a person, it'll help you pair the right people to the right assignments and build rapport with one another and create those bonds of trust and respect. Look for opportunities to bring people together. No matter how well you and your teammates get along with one another, conflict will inevitably arise at some stage. So to minimise any chances of that conflict, be on the lookout for personality clashes and look for ways to increase your understanding and cooperation in your team. Search for ways to encourage your team to collaborate with one another in achieving goals and completing projects together. Encourage the team culture that embraces diversity of thought and experience, and make sure everyone in the team always has a voice. Be honest. Personal integrity and respect are two of the most important traits for a leader to have if they want to increase the performance of others. Honesty is an essential ingredient in both integrity and respect. So be upfront, honest, and authentic with your team. Obviously, there are times when you as a leader can't share some information, and just be honest with your team about that too. Your team are going to appreciate you telling them that there are certain things you can't disclose just yet, but you'll keep them posted as soon as you can. Lies create distrust, and this will kill your team's morale. So be really truthful when you communicate with your team as well as with others. One area of communication that many females are often criticised for is the tendency to overuse the word sorry. I absolutely encourage you to apologise when you've in fact made a mistake. But don't become known for apologising for things that aren't actually your fault. There's a risk that these apologies will start to be seen as really insincere. It's also going to reduce your perception of seniority in the eyes of those around you. Start to notice how often you use the word sorry and start to be really mindful of what you're really meaning to say. So if you're walking past someone in a corridor and you come close to them, are you really sorry, or do you actually mean, excuse me, or may I squeeze past you? So save sorry for apologies. Leaders need to be particularly aware and careful with their word choices, but also make sure that your tone and meaning of your words match and are appropriate for the situation you're in. Whether you're an executive in a large company working to reach your highest potential, or a small business owner working alone or in a team, I'd love to assist you to practice and develop influence and your unique communication style. Contact me on the details below to chat about tailoring a solution that's as individual as you are. Do you have a topic that you'd love to hear more about? Post it in the comments below and be sure to stay in touch and subscribe to Athena Insights now. Until next time, here's to your success.